Hey everybody, and Tony here. I know I was supposed to make a review of As Told by Ginger, but that'll come slightly later. I want to save this time to, if you haven't seen the title of the video below me, I just want to save this time to talk about, well, or even make a little tribute as to why Hey Arnold means so much to me and the sort of impact that it had on my life. And yes, I've already stated those in the review and even the top 25 Hey Arnold episodes list, but, well, here it goes. The thing about Hey Arnold that has really made me go back to the show every single time is that, well, I've said this already, the characters. It's like every time I see Arnold, Gerald, Helga, Phoebe, Stinky, Sid, Harold, Sheena, Nadine, Rhonda, um, Lila, and many, many other characters of the show that I could, like, well, barely keep up with, I could still follow their journeys and what their lives are like and how much they sort of shape me as a person, especially when it comes to people like Arnold, Gerald, Phoebe, and Helga. Each of these characters sort of mean a lot to me, and even some of the minor characters as well. Remember the likes of Tucker Wittenberg or Alan Redmond from Rich Guy, and even the likes of who was that again? Oh, let's just say that there were a lot of minor characters that even though they've only had one appearance or even just a couple of appearances, they've meant a lot to me. Oh yeah, Torvald. Especially Torvald as well. These characters had a lot of facets going about them, and every time I watched Hey Arnold, it's like I want them to easily be my friends. It's like they're the type of people that I could be friends with. They're the type of people that I could have a great conversation with, and they're pretty much the type of people that I can really relate to and just, feel happy with their presence. And it's like, I don't really get that in several other cartoons where I could just, like, have the characters as friends and have a sort of genuine relationship with them. I know that kind of sounds rather surreal and very odd of me to say that, but that's the thing about Hey Arnold. It sort of had that profound effect on me. Oh, yes, other shows like Rugrats or Rocko's Modern Life, As Told by Ginger, and Avatar The Last Airbender also do that for me. But it was Hey Arnold that pretty much perfected that for me. And yes, everything in the character development part is just really, it just really shines for me. And there were characters that I used not to like. Like, for example, I've stated before that I didn't like Helga Pataki that much, but when I saw Helga on the couch, I had a better understanding of what Helga is going through, and I even watched other episodes before that, like Olga Comes Home or Quantity Time, Road Trip, and what was that? Ah, Big Sister. I mean, that episode was hilarious. But with Helga on the couch, I kind of had a better understanding of who she was as a person and, well, why she loved Arnold so much. It's pretty much out of necessity because I do feel like she does need the love in her life and she does need someone who could be kind to her as well. I mean, sure, we got that in Helga and the Nanny, but I do also feel that yes, it was pretty mean of what Helga did to Inga, and I felt like she did push her away so much, but even though Inga was strict and totally by the rules, it's like she meant a lot to Helga. I mean, she fed her well, she dressed her well, she taught her how to behave. She was basically like a role model for her, which was rather unfortunate because I guess it's easy to say that Helga has gotten used to her home life and how she's constantly being pushed aside in favor of her older sister, which I do understand. It is quite sad seeing her position in that. But it's very easy to say that Helga has easily become one of my favorite characters because that's the thing about Helga. It's like she's the type of person that you could write a book about. And that's how I felt about almost a lot of the characters in Hey Arnold. It's like they're people I could write a book about every single time because they're that interesting. They have personalities that are fleshed out, and they are basically people that I can root for, that I can like support even though their journey is tough. And sure, they may have some bad qualities, but that's what makes them all the more human. And sure, they were also just kids back then. And even some of the characters that may have an iffy impression on me or may seem kind of iffy on me, like Stinky and Sid, have their moments in their main episodes where they truly shine. With Stinky's case, it's Stinky Goes Hollywood. And I also felt for him when he was made fun of because of his accent. And Stinky's Pumpkin, I do understand that the motivation that he has when he wants to grow a huge pumpkin, and it definitely makes my heart go out to him. And even Sid, yeah, sure, Sid and Stinky do have their moments of being douchebags, but when they have their solo episodes, then they really shine. Especially with episodes, well, involving Sid, like Arnold Saves Sid, or Big Gino, and Sid the Vampire Slayer, and Sid's Revenge. I thought these episodes were really funny, and just a lot of fun to watch Sid in such a really great light. And well, especially with that of Big Gino, I kind of felt sorry for Sid when he got the swirly instead of Arnold. And well, and yeah, even though characters like Rhonda can have like only like personalities that I don't really care for, at least she can also shine as well. Not to mention there were other characters like Big Patty or Patty Smith that has made my heart go out to her because I do know what it's like to feel like you're constantly alone and you feel like that there are some people that are intimidated by you and just because you're a lot different. And I also get that impression with the likes of Stoop Kid and especially Pigeon Man. I do get that feeling. I do understand where they're coming from because I know that I've dealt with loneliness and people who don't understand me, but sometimes every time I watch them, I feel like there's always something that I could relate to them, and there's always something strong about these characters and even the situations that they get themselves into. I know that I've been sort of like lingering on the characters, but I also like to say that it's also because of the very strong writing and the setting that they get themselves into. I mean, when you think about it, yes, there are also other cartoons set in a very huge city as well, like Powerpuff Girls, Batman, and yeah, those are basically a couple examples that I can name. But with Hey Arnold, it's like they use the city to its advantage, and also because of the great mixture of music. I mean, sure, a lot of other shows do that, but Hey Arnold's mastery of music, it's just, it's flawless. I'm totally speechless by how these people managed to really make use of the music, and I feel so enraptured by the music that it starts to become like a sort of earworm for me, especially the opening, which is just fun to listen to. And well, that's pretty much all that I have to say about this tribute video to Hey Arnold. It's taught me so many life lessons. It's taught me so many things growing up, and it's made me root for the characters. It's made me understand what they're going through. It's made me feel like I want to communicate with them. And more than anything, it's what defined my childhood. Yes, there were other shows that defined it as well, but Hey Arnold defined it, well, wonderfully. And that's why I consider it to be one of the best 90s Nicktoons that I've ever watched. And it's also why I hold it with such high regard. And still, I'm actually quite disappointed that there was no ending. I'm still disappointed that there was no concrete ending for the show, which is why I'm not really too particular or I don't really care too much about SpongeBob or Fairly Odd Parents because, yeah, Hey Arnold doesn't get an ending, but shows like SpongeBob or Fairly Odd Parents have been running their asses much longer. And the same thing I felt about the Rugrats movies. I mean, they've kind of dipped in quality, like Rugrats Go Wild, which I hope to get to later in reviewing. But basically, when it comes to Hey Arnold, I'll never forget the legacy that it left on me. I'll never forget the characters that have really made an impression on me, and I'll never forget the lessons it has taught me growing up. And more than anything, I had and still will have such a great time with this show. Well, I'd also like to hear your thoughts on Hey Arnold as well, and how much it means to you, and why it means so much to you, and what were those aspects that stick out to you a lot. Just comment below and just let me know. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to tune in later to my review of As Told by Ginger, and I know that you've been waiting for it as well. So until then, see you later, everybody.